All right, Todd Atkins, I finally got to you. By the way, it wouldn't let me make a video off of your comment, which is what I like to do, so it expands the reach. Hopefully you just find this yourself, or maybe I can tag you somehow, I don't know. So Todd loves when I called Nate Diaz and Nick Diaz the Beavis and Butthead of MMA. And I think it made him laugh, and I think he really enjoyed it. But I want to be real clear here. I in no way meant to insult Nick and Nate Diaz. Like, I didn't know them really well when I was training in El Nino, Scrap Pack. They would drop by once in a while. And I'll say this. Nate Diaz already knew he was going to be a star, right? It was long after he was on the show, and he used to smile that star smile as he was greeting everybody. And Gilbert was wise enough to bring him around because the Diaz brothers were bigger stars than Jake Shields and Gilbert Melendez ever were, right? They had the background and the personalities for it, the Beavis and Butthead stuff. So I got nothing but respect for Nate. Nick I saw a couple times in El Nino, like he was training on and off, and he was kind of a dick, as you'd imagine, like his personality. I asked him if there was a fight next. He no. He grumbled at me. Well, he grumbled his way into no more fights. That last one he looked terrible on. But I don't want the moniker Beavis and Butthead of MMA to seem like a bad thing. That is a good thing. Beavis and Butthead became a cultural icon in the real world, right? Like this cartoon with adult content that changed the generation. Well, Nate and Nick Diaz were living incarnations of that in MMA. And I've talked about this before. I think Dana White very much missed the boat. Like Dana White didn't get it. To Dana White, we're going to make athletes and they're going to look like this and they're going to act like this. And it's going to be just like the NFL. And Dana was ahead of himself, right? Like the Diaz brothers were stars because of who they were, because they were the Beavis and Butthead of MMA. And David and Dana should have jumped on that and promoted the hell out of them, and he'd have done a lot better, a lot quicker. As it was, they made their own stardom, and Dana kind of had to accept it. And then that famous Stockton slap that Nate gave Dana after beating Connor and wanting more money in the rematch and all of that, whatever. Nate coming back, I think it's a great fight, mainly because of matching. Mike Perry versus Nate, obviously Nate's got a lot more skill on the ground. Boxing-wise, they're very evenly matched, right? Mike's got a ton of momentum coming out of BKFC. And Nate, look, he's semi-retired, had a couple of boxing matches, making money, which is what he should be doing, right? Nobody's going to take care of them in retirement. I want to talk a little bit about when I was around El Nino. There was this faux boxing trainer named Ty Poblet. And of course, the boxing owner at Polk Street Gym loved him. Simon loved Ty, thought he reminded him of a real boxing trainer. Ty knew less about fighting than me by far, but it didn't matter. It was all image and how people see things. And Ty very much saw me as his money, right? Like Ty was trying to get me to fund him essentially, to train all these fighters and whatnot. And Ty would laugh at me because I would go and spar with the guys. And one day Ty said, "You want to spar with Nate?" I go, "Hell yeah, I want to spar with Nate." And he goes, "Okay, I'll bring him to Polk Street Gym." So I show up there, all my sparring gear. I don't get anywhere near Nate Diaz. And this happens like 3 or 4 times at different places, right? Finally, this is what Ty Poblet says to me. He goes, yeah, I want you to spar with the other guy, the big guy. He was talking about Chris Lieben. Lieben had spent some time hanging around Scrap Pack because Jake Shields brought him around, closer in weight class. And my guess is Cesar Gracie told Ty, "Hey, dude, I'm not letting Nate near Derek. Derek's too big." And I was too big, and I was a savage. And, the Cesar Gracie guys knew it. The El Nino guys knew it, even if their egos didn't want to accept it, right? But all that having been said, I don't think Nate ever knew my name or knew that I was there to spar him or any of that stuff. He had people around him putting those things in place. And I was no value to anybody. Like, if somebody let me in the ring with Nate Diaz and I bombed on him, he'd be like, "What the hell? Get this guy away from me." So, yeah, I got all the respect for those guys, what they did, right place, right time, right? Beavis and Butthead suddenly becomes superstars, right? And that's awesome. And I wish him luck in his comeback. It's going to be a great fight, man. I think it's perfect timing for both Mike Perry and Nate Diaz. And Todd, I love you, man. Like and follow for more of the fight game.